are you doing today? Like, what do you got going on your Sunday afternoon?
I was in the greenhouse a little bit earlier. I got some I ran the fast flowering strains from 420 Fast Buds this summer on the outdoor.
I ran some of
And
those testers.
yeah, and there's a couple, that are getting real close to being done. So I just got myself a freeze dryer, so I'm super excited about trying some live rosin here.
Okay. Oh
So
yeah.
it'll be
That's an
interesting.
impressive greenhouse. That greenhouse is ginormous, and they're like monsters in there. It's like, holy cow.
Yeah, I got the greenhouse last year. I love doing outdoor. I grow indoor mostly. 90% of it's indoor, but I do enjoy the challenge of outdoor just because, you never know what Mother Nature throws at you. And it's always fun. I find it to be a little harder for me personally. So last year I did the greenhouse just to kind of keep the moisture and everything off of them and hopefully keep the pest away. And I didn't want to invest too much. So it's just a cheap one off of Amazon, but it did the trick. So
Yeah.
I told myself, all right, if I can get one more season out of it, I'd be stoked, because it's super simple. I have it all on a drip line. So, I mean, it's very minimal for what I do. But I actually had to get in there yesterday and tie up the main colas to the top of it because some of these things were starting to get to like a 45-degree angle. And I'm like, oh, man.
Heavy.
Did you back up any of those genetics from the fast flowering chips?
No, I've never grown any of them, because I only do photo periods once a year, and that's during the outdoor season. So I was real excited to get them running, and just see how I seen pictures. I seen everybody growing them, and the hype was there. So I'm like, oh, man, I feel like I'm missing out. But definitely well worth the wait. It was almost like a Christmas present waiting to open it, and you start seeing them into flower right now, and you're like, oh, couldn't ask for better.
But that's actually one of the things that's really cool, though, about like the new fast flowering lines. And I'm actually growing out some of the photo femmes that Heather sent me over. But, that's kind of one of the frustrations that we have as autoflower growers. It's like you got to weed through certain things. Some don't germinate. Some are lackluster. Some might have some type of like pH lockout or some type of issue you run into. But then you find that unicorn out of the pack, and she's like the one that got away. You know what I mean? So, and you think about it like years later, like I can remember autoflowers I grew like 2, 3, 4 years ago. I'm like, man, if I could have just cloned that and kept the mother around, if I only could find that pheno again. But that's actually one of the things that's a really cool opportunity from some of these new fast bud lines that are either the fast flowering, so they're half photo period, half autoflower ruderalis, or the all new line. They got 5 strains available so far as like the photo femmes.
Yeah, and they say them fast flowerings, they're basically going to finish within 8 weeks, supposedly. And it's going to be close because, like I say, they're stacking fast, and I really couldn't be happier.
I grew out 5 of the fast flowering strains while they were still in the testing phase. So I grew them as the number testers.
It's always fun when you regrow them.
2 years ago now. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I just started my indoor run. I'm on week 1, basically, almost a day before week 1's over, and the last time I ran, it's the 6 new auto flowering strains from Fast Buds, and the last time I ran them, they were testers. And I tell everybody it's very enjoyable for me because it's one thing if you already know the strain, but I kind of like a mystery, so it's almost like you act like Sherlock Holmes throughout the whole grow, trying to figure out what it is, knowing what and trying to figure out, all right, I know it's an indica dominant by the leaf structure, the way it's growing, and it's all, I don't know, it's fun for me. It's definitely a pleasure. And then you find out what it was and how far off you were. You're like, man, that's why I don't ask. Here, somebody else smell this. Tell me what it smells like.
Oh, yeah.
Try to get Heather to give up like hints. That's something I do sometimes. Heather, like, just tell me, is cookies in one of the parent strains? But she's so good stuff. Like Heather can definitely hold up under interrogation. Like she's always got like the perfect where she gives up 0 information.
100%, and big shout out to everything that she does. So,
hey,
the biggest shout out to Heather.
Yeah, look,
Miss Heather Sire. Thank you.
Yeah,